I never thought I'd find out my marriage was a lie while eating microwave lasagna on a Tuesday night. It started with a letter. Not an email, not a text, but an actual paper envelope. Like it was the 1800s and someone was challenging me to a duel. The handwriting was neat. Almost too neat, like someone trying hard not to shake. Inside, a photo. My wife, Claire, sitting at a cafe I didn't recognize, laughing at something a man across from her had said. A man who was definitely not me. A man who had his hand on hers like he paid rent for the privilege. Now, to be fair, at first glance it looked innocent. Two people enjoying overpriced coffee. But that hand told the truth. That hand whispered, "You're not imagining it." I stared at the photo for so long the lasagna went cold. Then I flipped the picture over. One sentence in the same perfect handwriting. "She's been meeting him every Thursday at 3:15. Thought you should know." I sat there, fork halfway to my mouth, heart playing jump rope with my ribs. And not because I was surprised. No, deep down, I'd felt it for a while. The late meetings. The sudden gym obsession. The way she smiled more at her phone than at me. Still, seeing it, that was a different beast. Like someone slapped me with a velvet glove and dared me to stay civil. Claire came home 2 hours later, cheeks rosy from yoga, hair smelling like someone else's cologne. She kissed me on the head like I was a dog waiting by the door. "Hey babe," she said, breezing past. "Dinner smells great." "It's just lasagna," I said. "Want a plate?" She nodded, opened the fridge, and poured herself a glass of wine. "How was your day?" "Oh, same old. Got an interesting piece of mail, though." She turned, glass halfway to her lips. Yeah, I said, sliding the photo across the table. She looked at it, blinked, set her wine down so gently it made no sound. And then she laughed. Actually laughed. "Are you serious?" she said. "You think this means something?" I just stared. She tried to hand it back. I didn't take it. "Claire, whose hand is that?" She crossed her arms. "It's just someone from work. We had coffee. Every Thursday. I don't have to explain every minute of my life to you, do I?" That's when I knew. She wasn't even trying to lie well. She didn't need to. She thought I wouldn't do anything. And, for the moment, she was right. But as I scraped her untouched lasagna into the trash later that night, I wasn't thinking about rage. I was thinking about how you dismantle a house of glass. Not with fire, not with fists, but with silence and patience. And a plan. I didn't confront her again. Not the next day. Not the day after that. I played my role, the way any good supporting actor does. I kissed her goodbye in the morning. I asked if she needed anything from the store. I even massaged her shoulders while she scrolled through Instagram, pretending not to notice how she tilted the screen away from me. But behind the scenes, I called Darren. Now, Darren and I go way back. College roommates. My best man at the wedding. He's also a private investigator, retired, technically. But once you've followed a cheating spouse through 3 counties, the itch never really leaves you. "You sure about this?" he asked. "Yeah." "You want photos? GPS? Maybe some audio?" "No," I interrupted. "Just the truth. And a timestamp." He sighed. "Give me a week." It only took 4 days. He sent me a drive. No text. No call. Just a padded envelope in my mailbox, like it was evidence in a cold case. And when I plugged it in, there she was. My Claire. Wearing that blue coat she claimed she lost last winter. Laughing with the same man from the cafe. Not just on Thursdays. Monday too. Saturday morning. Even one Tuesday when she said she was volunteering at the shelter. Once, in the video, she kissed him on the cheek, paused, and looked over her shoulder like she was proud of herself. Like she wanted someone to see. I guess now someone had. The best part? One of the videos wasn't of Claire. It was of the guy, walking out of a motel lobby at 7 a.m., holding hands with someone else entirely. Someone that wasn't Claire. Oh, the tangled web. Now, I had 2 problems, and neither of them knew I knew. I leaned back in my chair, watching the footage loop like it was a trailer for a movie I wasn't cast in. "Everyone's lying," I muttered. But I wasn't mad. I was motivated. This wasn't about pain anymore. This was chess. And I had just seen 2 queens fall in one move. The morning after I watched the videos, I dusted off our wedding album. Not out of nostalgia. More like forensic curiosity. It sat on the top shelf of the hall closet, tucked behind a stack of Christmas decorations and old tax returns. The leather was cracked, but the gold lettering still read, "Claire and Daniel, 2011. I flipped through it with the detachment of a historian examining a failed empire. There she was in her white dress, looking at me like I had hung the moon. There I was, smiling like a man who didn't know he was signing a 15-year lease on betrayal. Our parents beamed in every shot, blissfully unaware. Or maybe not. Maybe people see things but choose comfort over confrontation. About halfway through the album, I stopped at a picture of us standing by the cake. Darren was there, off to the side, raising a glass in our direction. He'd warned me, back then. Said Claire was beautiful, but intense. "You sure she's the one?" he had asked me the night before the wedding. I told him yes. I lied. To myself. But lies are expensive, and interest always comes due. I pulled the photo from the sleeve, flipped it over. Claire had written something in blue pen the day we got our proofs. "To my one and only, forever isn't long enough." I laughed. A short, humorless bark. Because now I had a new caption. "Frame this. You'll need it in court." I slipped the photo into my jacket pocket and put the album back on the shelf. Then I sat at the kitchen table, opened my laptop, and typed 6 words into a search bar I never thought I'd use. Best divorce attorneys in the city. Claire walked in mid-search, wearing yoga pants and guilt-free eyes. "Morning," she said, grabbing an apple like this was any other day. "Morning," I said back, smiling just enough to keep the peace. And just like that, we were 2 actors reading from different scripts. But soon, the curtain would rise, and I would be holding the final line. It's funny how normal a morning can look when it's secretly the prologue to chaos. Claire made eggs. I made toast. The coffee machine gurgled like it was in on the secret. "You heading into the office today?" she asked, eyes still glued to her phone. "Yeah," I said. "Big meeting." She nodded, didn't ask what it was about. We hadn't exchanged real questions in months. "Don't forget dinner with the Baxters next Friday," she added. Ah, yes, the performance review with her friends. Her curated audience. I nodded without committing. After she left, I stared at my untouched toast until it curled at the edges. Then I picked up the drive Darren had sent me and slipped it into a small fireproof box, right next to our marriage license and the deed to the house. Bit poetic, putting truth next to the contract it voided. That afternoon, I met with Lila Vasquez. If you ever need a divorce attorney who can smile while slicing jugulars, she's your woman. Her office looked like it was decorated by someone who only wore black and never lost a negotiation. She took one look at the footage and said, "She's toast." "Funny," I said. "That's what I was supposed to eat this morning." Lila smirked. "You've been gathering evidence." "That's good. We'll file quietly, with a surprise service. She'll be caught off guard. Which means leverage. Which means advantage." "She's been cheating for a while," I said. "But she's also seeing a guy who's cheating on her." "That could be useful," Lila replied, fingers already tapping her keyboard. "Give me his name. We might want to subpoena him later." I gave her everything. Names, locations, even a copy of that smug handwritten note from the envelope. She raised an eyebrow when she read it. Whoever sent this knew exactly what they were doing. "Yeah," I said, leaning back. "That's what scares me." By the end of the meeting, Lila had a plan. She always had a plan. The kind of woman who played chess in 3 dimensions while everyone else was arguing over checkers. "You'll hear from my assistant within 48 hours. Until then, play nice. Define nice. Don't blow up yet." Quiet anger makes the best headlines in court. I left her office feeling like I'd just loaded a gun I wasn't sure I wanted to fire. And yet, there was relief in motion. That night, Claire came home humming. Humming. I muttered under my breath, watching her breeze through the kitchen. She poured wine and kicked off her shoes like someone with a clean conscience. "Guess what?" she said. "I might get to lead the Thompson pitch next week. Maria says I'm finally ready." "Big deal," I said. She leaned on the counter, swirling her glass. "It is. Could mean a raise." I wanted to ask if she planned to share it with her side guy, but I didn't. Because silence is what you wield when your words are weapons too early. Instead, I smiled and said, "Proud of you." And I meant it. In a way. Because I was proud of how well she lied. It takes talent to fake a whole life that convincingly. We watched TV in silence. Her head on my shoulder like old times. I could feel her breathing slow as she started to drift. I stared at the screen, but saw none of it. I was thinking about the moment I'd serve her the papers. Lila said she'd get a courier with a sense of drama. Someone who could deliver the envelope at a place Claire would never expect. My suggestion? Her Thursday cafe. 3:15 sharp. A little poetry, I figured. That weekend, I visited my brother, Dan. Told him everything. He didn't say much. Just poured 2 whiskeys and nodded a lot. You sure you want to go through with it? He asked eventually. Dan, she's not just cheating. She's making me look like a joke in my own house. He nodded again. I get it. Just be careful. Revenge is only sweet if you don't burn your own tongue. I smiled. Good news, then. I'm already flame-proof. Back home, Claire was in the shower. I walked past the bathroom, heard her humming again. Same tune, same ease. Like nothing was crumbling. I stood in the hallway for a minute. And I thought, you'll never see it coming. Thursday, 3:14 p.m. I parked 2 blocks from the cafe and waited. Claire liked punctuality the way a surgeon likes steady hands. She'd be on time. She always was for him. And right on cue, her blue coat swayed into view, the same one she claimed the dry cleaner lost. I watched from the side mirror as she hugged him. Not tight, not romantic, but familiar. They ordered lattes. Sat by the window. Same table. Like it was reserved for betrayal. 3:16 p.m. My phone buzzed. One word from Lila's assistant. Delivered. I didn't see the courier, but I saw the moment the envelope hit her hand. Her smile froze mid-sentence, like someone hit pause. She tilted her head, opened it, and read. First the blink, then the little flare of nostrils, then the glance at him, her affair buddy, who leaned in like he was reading over her shoulder. He stiffened, said something. She stood up. Fast. I couldn't hear it, but her mouth formed a word she hadn't used with me in months. What? She stormed out alone, envelope in hand, her coffee untouched. I followed at a distance. She didn't see me. Not until she opened our front door. She stopped cold. I was already inside. She stepped in, face flushed, eyes wide. You set me up. No, I said, voice calm. You did. I just sent the receipts. She tossed the envelope on the table like it had burned her. You hired someone to follow me? I hired someone to confirm what I already knew. This is extreme, Daniel. You ambushed me at a cafe like some kind of reality TV stunt. I shrugged. You cheated on your husband like a cliché in a rom-com. We all have our styles. She started pacing. This is vindictive. We could have talked. We stopped talking 3 months ago, Claire. You just didn't notice because your Thursdays got busy. She stopped. You went through my things. My phone. Nope. Didn't have to. You were about as subtle as a fire drill. Her face changed. No more guilt. Just calculation. So what now? You want to humiliate me? Post this online. Ruin my career. I leaned against the counter. No. I want a clean split. I'm not interested in revenge. Just release. She laughed, short, bitter. You act like you're the moral one here. I act like someone who's done being lied to. Big difference. She crossed her arms. You'll ruin both our reputations with this circus. I tilted my head. Claire, I'm not the one who turned our marriage into an episode of Cheaters. I'm just the poor guy who got stuck in reruns. Silence. Then she said something I didn't expect. Do you still love me? It hit like a quiet slap. Not loud. Just jarring. I think I love who I thought you were, I said. But this version of you? The one who planned a double life like a vacation itinerary. I paused. No, I don't know her. Her jaw clenched. He doesn't matter. Not really. Then why risk everything for him? She looked down. Because you stopped seeing me. I blinked. Stopped seeing you? I mean really seeing me. Noticing when I was drowning. When I felt like wallpaper in my own life. He made me feel visible. I sat down. Let the words settle. Then nodded slowly. That's fair. Maybe I did get complacent. But you didn't tell me. You told him. With your hands. Your mouth. Your time. She wiped at a tear. So that's it. Not yet, I said, and slid a folder across the table. She opened it. Bank statements. Copies of her texts. The deed, with my name still on everything. Lila prepared a fair offer, I said. You keep your accounts, I keep mine. We sell the house. No alimony. No courtroom. Clean break. She skimmed it, quiet. And if I don't sign? I leaned in, voice low. Then we go public. With the photos. The audio. The footage of your new guy walking out of a motel with another woman. Her face twisted. You really did your homework. I nodded. You started the test. I just studied. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she signed. 1 page. 2 signatures. 15 years reduced to ink. When she finished, she looked at me like someone watching a movie where they used to be the star. I didn't think you had it in you, she said. I smiled. Neither did I. You'd think that after handing your wife a folder of betrayal and walking away with your spine intact, there'd be a sense of triumph. You'd be wrong. Turns out, dignity is quieter than expected. No fireworks. No slow claps. Just an echo of your own breathing in a house that suddenly feels 2 sizes too big. Claire moved out the next week. She left behind a couple of books, an unused yoga mat, and a half-empty bottle of shampoo in the shower, like she wanted to haunt the place 1 cent at a time. She also left a note. If you can call 6 words on a post-it a note. I'm sorry. I really was tired. Tired. Not sorry for the lies. Not sorry for the years. Just tired. I stuck the post-it to the fridge, not out of sentiment, but as evidence. Proof of how small her version of closure really was. The next few days were oddly calm. No new calls. No rage texts. Not even a legal hiccup from her lawyer. It was almost too easy. That's when the other shoe dropped. Darren called me on a Wednesday night. You might want to sit down. That phrase never ends with good news, I said, already dropping onto the couch. Her guy, the Thursday cafe guy, he's got a name. Lucas. Full name's Lucas Rollins. Sounds like someone who sells bad cologne door to door. Well, he's selling something. Turns out, he's not just cheating on Claire. Yeah, I saw the motel footage. No, I mean he's got history. Civil suits. Restraining orders. All buried pretty deep. I straightened. Are you saying he's dangerous? I'm saying Claire picked a ticking bomb and tried to light a candle with it. I let the words hang in the air. She's still seeing him? She was, until yesterday. She confronted him about the motel girl. Let's just say it didn't go well. Let me guess, he blamed her. Classic. More than that. Someone filed a police report. No charges yet, but it's messy. And now, get this, Claire wants to talk. I blinked. To me, Darren grunted. Yup. Called my office directly. Left a message. Wants to clear the air. Clear it? She already set it on fire. You meeting her? I paused. Yeah, I said. I want to see what face she's wearing this time. We met at a diner. Neutral ground. The kind of place with sticky menus and free coffee refills. She looked tired, this time in a real way. Not poetic. Not romantic. Just exhausted. Thanks for coming, she said, stirring a sugar packet into nothing. I came for the pie, I replied. She almost smiled. I didn't know about his past, she said. I nodded. Most people don't look for a red flag when they're already seeing stars. Her mouth tightened. He said all the right things. Until he didn't. Yeah, I said. That tends to be how lies work. I don't want anything from you, Dan. I need to say something real. She pulled something from her purse. A photo. Us. From our trip to Charleston. Right before everything tilted. I remember that day. Hot sun, iced tea, laughter that wasn't fake. We were holding hands. This feels like another life, she said. I keep looking at this picture and wondering when I became someone else. I met her eyes. You didn't become someone else. You uncovered who you were. That's the part that hurts. She looked down. He said I was vibrant, that I was being wasted, and I wanted to believe that. So you did. I'm sorry, she whispered. Not just for cheating. For making you feel like a backup plan. Silence stretched between us. Finally, I said, you weren't tired, Claire. You were bored. And bored people light matches to feel something. She looked at me, tears threatening but not falling. Do you hate me? I thought about that. No, I said, but I respect you a lot less. She nodded slowly. That's fair. The check came. I paid. As I got up, I left the photo behind. Keep it, I said. Maybe it'll remind you that not everything real has to be ruined. Then I walked out. She didn't follow. Back home, I poured myself a glass of scotch and sat in the quiet. The war was over. But peace? Peace still had terms to negotiate. The strange thing about betrayal is how it reshapes the ordinary. The kitchen, once filled with Saturday pancakes and burnt coffee, now echoed with silence. Even the creak of the floorboard by the fridge, Claire used to curse it every morning, sounded like a ghost dragging its feet. But you learn to live with echoes. It was 2 weeks post-divorce when I ran into Paul. Yes, that Paul, the former friend, the wine-sipping Judas who once played charades in our living room while secretly cheering Claire on from the sidelines. We met eyes in the cereal aisle at Lenox Market. Daniel, he said, voice too casual for a man who'd toasted my downfall. Paul, I replied, resting my hand on the cart handle like it was a weapon. Didn't expect to see you here. Didn't expect to see you anywhere that didn't serve betrayal on tap. He winced. A flicker. Quick, but satisfying. Look, he said, stepping closer, I didn't know the full story. I mean, I thought Claire was just… What? Lonely? Bored? Justified. His voice lowered. I thought she was done with you. And I figured, if she was happy, maybe that's all that mattered. That's her defense? That you rooted for the affair because she seemed happy. She made it sound like you'd already left the marriage in spirit. I laughed, cold and sharp. Claire never gave me the chance to try. He shifted uncomfortably. Well, she's not with that guy anymore. So what? I cut in. You want me to feel sorry for her? Offer her a shoulder? Make her a second chance like it's a casserole? He held up his hands. Just saying maybe. Things didn't end the way she thought either. They rarely do. I grabbed my cereal, plain, reliable, unlike my past, and walked off. Behind me, I heard him sigh. One of those sighs that say, I didn't think it'd come back to bite me. It always does. That night, I pulled up the folder on my laptop. The one Darren helped me build. Photos. Records. A whole gallery of betrayal I hadn't looked at since the day Claire signed the papers. I hovered over it, then deleted the whole thing. Not out of mercy. Not out of forgiveness. Out of disinterest. She wasn't mine to hold accountable anymore. The next day, a package arrived. No name on the return address. Inside? A single black flash drive. No note. No explanation. Just the device. I knew better than to plug mystery tech into my laptop, so I used an old beater computer I kept in the garage. The drive held exactly one file, a video, about 3 minutes long, grainy footage, security camera angle, a motel parking lot, Claire, and Lucas, not fighting, not kissing, arguing. Claire pointed at him, shouting. Lucas grabbed her arm. She yanked it back. His hand rose, then lowered. A flash of anger, aborted. Then she got in her car and drove off. I stared at the paused frame of Lucas standing alone in that parking lot, looking like the villain in a low-budget crime thriller. Why did someone send this to me? Darren? Claire? One of her friends trying to sway me? Whatever the intent, it didn't change anything. You can't unburn ashes. Still, the past doesn't always know when to stay buried. On Friday, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something made me answer. Daniel, the voice said, soft, familiar. It took me a second to recognize it. Vivian, my sister-in-law, Claire's younger sister, the quiet one, always observant, always in the background, reading everyone like a novel. Viv, I said. Well, didn't expect to hear from you. I wouldn't be calling if I wasn't sure, she said, but I thought you should know. Claire's not okay. I stayed quiet. She called me crying last night. Said you turned everyone against her. Said she's lost, and Lucas, he's been following her. My jaw clenched. She's not asking for help, Vivian continued. But I think she needs it. I exhaled. I'm not her fixer, Viv. Not anymore. I know. And I wouldn't ask, except I think she's scared. Really scared. I rubbed my temple. Why are you telling me? Because no one else is listening. And because she's still your history. I didn't sleep that night. Not out of guilt. Not out of longing. But because I knew one thing with absolute certainty. If Lucas laid a finger on her again, I'd be knocking on a door I thought I'd closed forever. And this time, I wouldn't be bringing flowers. The next morning, I drove up the coast to Claire's last known address. The ocean smelled like salted promises and broken ones. Vivian met me on the porch, her face tight. She's inside, she said. I didn't want to involve the police yet. Her voice trembled, but she straightened. I needed you. Inside, Claire sat on the sofa, knees drawn up, eyes distant, like she was watching something unfold in her head. She startled when we arrived. Daniel, she whispered. No accusation. Just surprise. What happened? I asked, but Vivian stepped forward. She ran into Lucas. He said he couldn't let her go. Showed up 2 nights ago. At her door. Said he'd make things right. Claire swallowed. He's changed, she lied. He apologized. Said he wants another chance. Vivian's jaw clenched. That's a lie. He's been calling. Driving past. She's terrified. I nodded to Claire. We need to report this. No more hesitation. Claire shook her head. I don't want it to get worse. But it already has. I turned to Vivian. Get the logs. I'll go with her to file the report. That afternoon, we sat in the police station. Claire whispered the details. I watched her tremble, angry not because she was weak, but because she was human. They logged every word, gave us restraining order paperwork, suggested she stay with Vivian until things cooled down. On the drive home, Claire said nothing. I looked over, she flicked her fingers at the restraining order form on her lap, then closed her eyes. I can't believe it's come to this, she said softly. I never wanted your help. I slowed the car. You never asked for it. But it's what I do. I paused, then offered, do you want me to drop you off at Vivian's? She waited, then nodded. Yeah. I drove the rest of the way in silence. Over the next week, I helped Claire move in with Vivian. It felt like disassembling a home, box by box, memory by memory. We didn't speak much, but action became our dialogue. One night, we both sat in the empty living room, just the two of us, having cleared the kitchen. I shouldn't feel grateful, Claire said. You dropped me, then picked me up. I shrugged. Just keeping score back there. I pointed to the boxes. We're at 0 now. She smiled, small. I didn't come back because I thought you'd protect me. Then why? Because I needed someone who looked through me. She tapped her chest. Someone who wouldn't assume I'd burn everything down. We stayed there a while, two people rearranging what remained. Understanding maybe wasn't enough, but it was a start. I left her house that night, climbing into my car with an uneasy peace. Just as I turned the key, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. That video again, from the motel parking lot, but this time with a twist. Footage of Lucas. At a dark alley. It looked like he was dragging someone. So muffled I couldn't tell if it was Claire or something else. I called Darren. Bring backup, I said. I'm heading there now. Half an hour later, headlights cut through alley shadows. There he was, Lucas, pushing something or someone into a rusted dumpster. No spotlight. Just alley gloom. And a body. Adrenaline turned me into a silent predator. I stepped out, heartbeat thundering. Lucas. He froze. Then dashed. I chased. No guns. No fists. Just adrenaline and fury. He slipped into a side corridor, sprinted. But he didn't count on a good punch. One blow to the kidney, and he staggered. He swung, missed. Another blow, heart. He fell. I stood over him, chest heaving. Stay away from her. Voice low. He coughed, spat blood. You'll regret this. I walked away.